Today's game features Bai, Jinshi playing as white against Ding, Liren as black. Move 0. White pawn to d4. Black brings the knight to f6, developing with tempo. White pawn to c4. Black pawn to e6, a solid positional move. White knight to c3. Black places the bishop on b4. And white develops the knight to f3. Black goes for kingside castle. White develops the bishop to g5. Now, black advances to c5. On move 5, white advances to e3. Black pawn captures d4, creating an opening imbalance. Now, white captures on d4. And black knight to c6. White deploys the queen to d3. Black pawn to h6. White bishop to h4. Black pawn to d5. White rook swings to d1. Black pushes the pawn to g5. Move 10. White bishop to g3. Now, black knight to e4. Creating complications. White develops the knight to d2. Black knight to c5. White brings out the queen to c2. Black pushes the pawn to d4. White brings the knight to f3, gaining compensation. Black advances to e5. White knight captures on e5. The evaluation changes here. Black plays dxc3. A very tempting queen sacrifice. On move 15, white takes on d8 with the rook. Black pawn captures b2. Check. White king to e2. Black rook captures on d8. White captures on b2. The idea behind this move is clear. Black brings the knight to a4. White deploys the queen to c2, seizing the advantage. Black knight to c3. Giving check. White steps the king to f3, exploiting the weakness. Black plays road 4. What a visual, quiet move. The rook cannot be captured due to the royal fork. But now, g4 mate is threatened. And the white king is sealed in. Move 20. White pushes the pawn to h3. Black pushes the pawn to h5. White plays bh2. A most unhappy cleric. Black pawn to g4, check. White king to g3. Black plays road 2. Yet again, the fork appears. The point here is to attack f2 in critical lines. White brings out the queen to b3. And black develops the knight to e4, check. White plays kh4. The king is soon hunted down now, but Ding consistently finds the strongest paths. And black develops the bishop to e7, and that's check. On move 25, white king captures on h5. Black steps the king to g7. White develops the bishop to f4. Black develops the bishop to f5. White develops the bishop to h6, and that's check. Black king to h7. Converting the advantage. White queen takes b7. Black rook captures on f2. White places the bishop on g5. Black moves the rook to h8. On move 30, white knight takes f7. Converting the advantage methodically. Black develops the bishop to g6, checking the king. White captures on g4. Black brings the knight to e5, giving check. Bai, Jinshi resigns. Ding, Liren wins the game.